are you? Looks like we've already got a bunch of gals over on YouTube joining us live. Hello, everyone. Ruby, Estella, I'm so sorry. Cindy, BT, Michelle, and Shirley are already joining us and saying hi. Welcome to everybody else who's hopping on. Hopefully, we've got a few Facebook ladies joining us as well. I see someone from Ferndale, Washington, Mar Sue. She says it's her first time watching us live. So welcome. And we're so glad you're here. I'm so glad all of you are here. Hello, everyone. Well, if we haven't met before, my name is Noreen Smith. I'm the Product Development Creative Manager at Creative Memories. And every week I get to be with you for an hour or so, 45 minutes, an hour, and we get to do some fast and fun projects. So welcome everybody, whether it's your first time or whether you join me every week. There's Kylie joining us from Australia and Carrie joining us from Australia as well. Janice is here from PA. I think that's Pennsylvania, I'm pretty sure. Well, hello to everybody. Still haven't seen anybody from our Facebook group yet, but hopefully they're joining in as we speak. Karen from Winnipeg is saying we now have snow. I'm sorry if I sent it over your way there, Karen. Yeah, we had snow last week, of course. I was talking about that, and it was still on the ground for our trick-or-treaters yesterday, but it was fairly mild weather, so we had quite a lot of kids out. We had about 30, 35, which is a lot for our neighborhood. But I know that, seeing images on social media, some neighborhoods have, 200 kids that come to their door. So that was probably really exciting for a lot of, those little trick-or-treaters who were out. I did see a few teenagers, my own included. They were out trick-or-treating. And I saw a really fun meme the other day that was about, trick-or-treaters, teenage trick-or-treaters at your door. Just be glad that they're choosing to trick or treat and have some fun, innocent, childhood fun still. Give them the candy bar and, tell them to enjoy themselves and let them head off again. So hopefully, whether you had little ones or bigger ones, you had a great time. I know my kids did for sure. Hello, everybody. There's our Facebook users coming on now. Just a reminder that unless you drop your name in your Facebook comment, I can't see anything other than Facebook users. So if I don't say your name in particular, that is why. Well, we are going to get going today with a fun, I hesitate to call it fun because it's kind of a more serious sort of nature, but it is a fast and it is an easy project. So we're going to be doing some tribute layouts using our new Called to Serve products that came out last week along with the Nordic Winter. So they were both launched at the same time. And we spent some time last week, of course, doing some daring diagonals. And this week we're going to be using Called to Serve as a bit of a tribute layout. But I promise it'll be fast and it'll be easy. And it's a fun layout, even if your subject matter is a bit more serious or, sober, I guess. Hello, everybody. Oh yeah, so we've got some people saying that they had no trick-or-treaters, and isn't that kind of sad? I tell you, the neighborhoods go through different ebbs and flows, and again, some have a lot, some have a little, some have none. So I hope you got your fill of Halloween in some other way. Speaking of that, of course, we had our Halloween promo last week. We have our Halloween challenge continuing on. So if you do have some great Halloween photos, events, from the weekend, maybe you were at a Halloween party, or maybe you caught some pictures of your own kids or grandkids or friends or family members dressed up in their costumes yesterday, or trick-or-treaters that came to your door. We'd love to see your Halloween themed layouts posted into the Creative Memories Virtual Crop Facebook group. So we've got a challenge going on, and you're going to use the hashtag Scrappy Spirit. And you've got until Sunday, November 5th. So you've got the rest of this week to get those Halloween themed layouts uploaded, finished off, and then uploaded into the group for a chance to win a great prize. Okay, so Halloween fun definitely continues. Okay, people are over on Facebook looking for you, it says. So maybe we are having some problems with Facebook. Yeah, Sue is saying that she can't see you on Facebook today. Yeah, so maybe there is a problem with Facebook. I'm not sure. I'm all connected to Facebook and everything, so I'm not sure what's going on. But we will make sure that we upload a recorded version of today's Fast and Fun into the Facebook group if it somehow doesn't show up there. So thanks for letting us know. Yeah, Amy's saying the same thing, not yet streaming on Facebook. So there's obviously some kind of glitch going on. Thank you for joining us. Oh, and then somebody else is saying Facebook is fine. You just never know. You just never know. So we will double check at the end if the Facebook stream was okay or not. And if it isn't, we'll definitely get it uploaded over there. Okay, well, let's get going though. As I mentioned, we are going to do a tribute layout. So let me flip you over to my table, and I want to share with you some of the, well, I want to share with you the Called to Serve products first, and then show you the layout that we're going to make, and then we're going to do a couple of other fun little additions. So here we go. The Called to Serve. We have had so many requests for a military themed collection now over the last year. So some of you may remember that years ago we had a couple of different paper packs, Brave and Camouflage. So we pulled some of those great papers from that collection to offer a little 6-pack of military themed, or I'm going to actually be using them for my son's cadet albums. So kind of that camo and military vibe. And there's just 6 different patterns here. We've got some stars, a great camouflage, and a really versatile little check. And then we have kind of a pixelated camouflage, some chevrons, and then my favorite is this fantastic navy text paper with all the great words related to, you know, military honor, freedom, etc. So that's the paper pack. And again, it's going to be great to use with any of the coordinating cardstocks: avocado, dark green, navy, hot fudge, and beige. That's a great little collection of colors. And again, I think that will work for several different branches of the military. And as I mentioned, I'm going to be using it for my son's cadets. And then we also had our amazing designers come up with a sticker pack. And again, the challenge is always to keep it relevant, but keep it somewhat general. So we have, you know, great words that are going to apply to, again, all branches: hero, honor, freedom, we salute you, respect, duty, selfless courage. We've got Veterans Day for the US there, which we'll talk about, freedom, called to serve. We've got lots of great icons here, servicemen and women. We've got some stars. We've got different, vehicles and icons associated with different branches of the military, and then some great borders. So we are going to be using some of these today, and we're going to kind of take 2 different spins on this layout. The final piece of the Call to Serve kind of mini collection here is this fantastic album, Call to Serve, and it's clay. The album cover is clay, and we've got navy and silver foils. So again, I always hope the camera picks up the shimmer of the foils. But again, a great sort of general but themed album that you can put, military. You can document a military career. You can, show different things associated with your country. It's going to be quite a good generic sort of album for anything that has to do with being called to serve or with patriotic sort of layouts and themes. So I love that, and I'm really, really pleased that we've got this great little mini collection here. So because we're coming up to Remembrance Day in Canada and Veterans Day in the United States, both happening on November 11th, I thought it was a good time to kind of think about creating a layout that might honor someone returning from service, somebody who is actively on duty, or some of the commemorative ceremonies that might be happening in your area. So I've got this, again, kind of a very fast layout, easy to do, and again, easy to replicate. So we're going to create this in just a second. But again, I just wanted to show how versatile this was. So here's a couple of pictures of a serviceman returning home. Two pictures can get on there very easily. And then I've just used the stickers from the sticker pack. You can see the border, the little dog tags, and the boots and helmet, the hero banner, and we salute you. Where is that? Right there. So that's all I've used on this particular layout. That great versatile grid pattern, the stars, the text, and the chevron. So we're going to recreate this, and I'm going to kind of take a different spin with it. And we are going to kind of create, if this might be a suitable layout for a Veterans Day in the US, we're going to kind of create something for Remembrance Day in Canada. Now, I have to say, this is going to be a photograph. I've mentioned that my son is in cadets, and every Remembrance Day he plays with his pipes and drum band at a Remembrance Day service. So I'm not allowed to actually post any pictures of the cadet corps, so I'm just going to use a placeholder here, and when I get my photos from this upcoming Remembrance Day, I'll be using them. But I also have a photo of the poem In Flanders Fields, written by Canadian Lieutenant Colonel John McCrae and adopted, worldwide as kind of a poem that represents the service, captures the feeling of, the appreciation we have for those who lost their lives in World War I, and of course in many conflicts since. So this is actually a display that goes up in Calgary here, and I just snapped a photo kind of in preparation for this particular layout. So I'm going to bring in a second piece here of my grid paper, and as usual I like to just kind of dab a little bit of repositionable adhesive on there to keep it in place on my 13 by 13 inch cutting mat. I think I'm going to start putting it in the opposite corners to hold it. Otherwise it might twist on me a little bit sometimes. There we go. That's a little bit more steady. And I thought we would go ahead and recreate this layout, but do a mirror image, because some of you might want to create this as a single page layout, but some of you might want to create a double page layout. So I'm going to recreate it, but in the mirror image, and then that way you can kind of get the sense of what this would look like as a 2-page spread. So really, really simple. I've got the companion pieces basically here. So first of all, I have a 6-inch by 12-inch piece of the navy text, and then I have two 2-inch by 12-inch pieces of the stars and the chevrons. And you can see that they don't go all the way to the edge. So we do have to do just a bit of trimming. So I'll grab my 12-inch trimmer here. And the two 2-inch strips, I'm going to cut down to 10 inches. So I'm going to take 2 inches off the edge. So I'm just going to stack them and take 2 inches off the edge here, or one end. So these are both 2 inches by 10 inches long. And I'm just going to take 1 inch off of my navy text piece. So you can again see that it doesn't quite go to the edge. It leaves basically a really nice border around it, and that's why I didn't bring it all the way to the edge. So let's just go ahead and take 1 inch off. And that's really all the cutting. So I will remind you of the sizes. We've got a 12 inch by, an 11 inch by 6 inch, or 6 inch by 11, whichever way you want to think of it. And that's going to go right in the center here. This is why I really love having my 13 by 13 inch cutting mats, because it gives me the measurements along the side. So I know that I can line up a 6 inch piece between the 3 and 9, and it's exactly in the right place. So I'm going to go ahead and adhere that. That will be my first piece. There we go, 3 inches. In this case, it's not quite at the grid. It's not exactly even with the grid, but I like to try and keep it, if I'm using a grid or a lined piece of paper on the background, I do like to try and keep that nice and even. All right, and then we have our 2 pieces, again, 10 inches by 2 inches, or 2 inches by 10 inches, whichever way you like to think of it. And although I've cut these at different times, let's see if they might match up. They're not quite matched up there. If I was doing a 2-page spread, I would try to maybe cut 1 strip off the top of a page and 1 strip off the bottom. And then that way, usually the pattern repeats a little bit more evenly. But again, I think that will be okay. You are going to have a little bit of a gap between your 2 sides of your layout. So it won't be too obvious once it's in your album. When you have them right next to each other, you can see that the stars don't line up exactly. But when they're going to be in your album, nobody is even going to know. What I do want to check, though, is which direction my chevrons are going. So I want to keep those going in the right direction. Again, wouldn't be a big deal, but you might just kind of have a feeling that something's a bit off if you have your patterns on both sides of a layout going in the opposite direction. So that really is the base of this layout. And now you can see how easy it would be to create a 2-page layout from this, but it looks great as a single page layout as well. Okay, so 11 by 6, 10 by 2, 10 by 2. Just 3 pieces of paper, and that's going to be your base. All right, so now I'm going to come in with my 4 by 6 inch photo, and I'm going to adhere this one down just like I did this one. And it looks like I kind of put it up a little bit from the seam here because I put the border over the seam. So I'm going to kind of match up where the bottom of my photo is, so that again, if it was a 2-page spread, those would match and then my border would match. And then I'm just going to use a little bit of repositionable adhesive to put this down just as that placeholder until November 11th, when I capture a couple of images to choose from my son's Remembrance Day ceremonies. Okay, so that looks pretty good. I really like how we've got that continuation of the papers across both spreads. And let's talk about the borders. Now, I use one of the great sticker borders here, and there's actually quite a few to choose from. You could do the green stars. I could do another chevron, or I could do the word sticker. That would be actually really nice as well. So just to give you an idea, that would look great. But I think I'm actually going to kind of pull out an old favorite, Border Maker cartridge, which I think goes beautifully with this collection. This is the Chevron arrows. So this particular Border Maker cartridge is not new, and it was not brought out with this collection, but of course it just goes so well with this particular collection. So I'm going to pull out some dark green cardstock, and I think maybe a little bit of black, just to kind of amp it up a bit, just as a bit of a contrast. But yeah, remember that dark green is one of the coordinating cardstocks. And I don't know why I pulled out my my trimmer when I meant to be reaching for my original border maker system. So let me grab that instead. All right, I'm just going to bring out another cutting mat here. I have this extra one that I often will use as kind of an extra work surface. I love having the two duct taped together to make a working surface for my layouts, but then I don't always want to move these off the work surface if I'm going to do things like, you know, punching or adhering or anything that's messy. So I've got an extra one, and I'm just going to put some dark green cardstock into my border maker paper tray and swing that gray paper guide away. And here we go, popping in the cartridge, and let's go ahead and punch. Now, if you're not familiar with the original border maker system and the border maker cartridges, the cartridges have a little teeth on them, and then the back side of the paper guide has little notches. So again, the idea here is that the teeth and the notches lock together so that you can go ahead and punch. So we're locked together, and I'm just going to go ahead and punch. Now you'll notice two things. This is an edge punch, and what we would call a punch out style punch, because it punches along the edge of the paper, and it also has shapes that you could use as well. So I'm going to hang on to all these little shapes because I might be able to use those little chevrons and little flag shapes in my layout. So I'll just put these off to the side here. And so now we have our great chevron border, and it looks like I maybe moved that a little bit too quickly, and it left a little piece, so my scissors take care of that. And now I'm going to go ahead and trim this into the size I need. So I'm just going to place this at about the 1/4 inch mark, the edge that's attached still to the paper. And I'll go ahead and trim that off into a border. And I think that what I'd like to do, again, I think I'm going too fast here. Noreen, slow down so you're not making mistakes. I think what I'd like to do is actually back this with some black cardstock, and I mentioned that a little earlier. I don't mind that the paper is showing through, but because I've got kind of two different papers, I thought that if I backed it with the black, it might kind of tone it down just a little bit, but still provide a little bit of contrast. So I just went ahead and I cut a strip of black cardstock to 1 inch, and I've just backed that behind my border. So again, there's my punched border, and I've just backed it with a piece of black cardstock. So I think that will work well. And now I basically have more of a solid border, which I really like the look of. So let's go ahead and get that attached. I'm just going to use regular adhesive for that, because the embellishments that I'm going to add in just a minute are really going to be the focal point that I want to pop up with some foam squares. You can see that on this layout, I popped up my embellishments and the title with some foam squares. So I haven't forgot about foam squares, but I'm going to use them somewhere else. Now for this layout, the stickers that I had to choose from worked just perfectly. You know, we've got the helmet and the boots, the dog tags, works perfectly with the picture of the serviceman. You know, hero, we salute you. For Remembrance Day, we don't have anything that's specifically for Remembrance Day in the stickers, other than the poppies. So I am actually going to take inspiration from these poppies, and we're going to make a bunch of poppies, kind of from scratch. So you could definitely take these. I've got 3 of them. They would make a nice little cluster, but I want more than just kind of the 3 poppies, but you can see how that's going to go beautifully with my photos. So I'm going to pop these back on here, and I will save them for another layout. Actually, I'll just put them off to the side. But let's talk about how we can actually make some poppies. And I pulled out my poppy that I wear for Remembrance Day as a bit of an inspiration. And what I came up with was, if we use our piece by piece mini trio, there's 3 little punches to this mini trio, but if we use the petal and the little star shape along with our circle punch, we can create some great looking poppies here. So we're going to make some of each. This one in particular is made with the Firecracker Shimmer solid core paper. And this one takes inspiration from the stickers themselves. And it's kind of a 2-tone look. So this is made with cranberry and red cardstock. And then both of them have the black center. So let's go ahead. I've got a couple here, but let's go ahead and actually make some more, because I want a great little cluster of poppies for my, to kind of reference the poppy for my layout. Okay, so let me bring back my little work surface here. Just pop that on top. And I've got some Firecracker Shimmer. I've got a little bit of red and a little bit of cranberry. And then I've got my black. So these were just scraps that I had. So let's go ahead and see what we'll need for each one of the poppies. So first of all, I'm starting off with our circle punch, 1 1/4 inch circle. If you're using your custom cutting system, you can make a 1.5 or a 2 inch. So I would suggest a 1.5, because the petals that we'll cut in just a second they just kind of cover up the edge. Actually, I'm going to punch one from here. So I've punched 2 circles here, 1 from Cranberry, 1 from Firecracker Shimmer. And then for each poppy, we're going to need 6 petals. So again, this is the little petal punch. The lever is on the back because these guys are so small. So I'm going to punch 6 from the Firecracker Shimmer. Oh. And I have to say, I like both of these for different reasons. I like the Firecracker Shimmer because it's, of course it's shimmery, which is always fun, but it also is a little bit more lightweight, so it's easier to kind of bend and shape each petal. And then from this, we're going to need 3 cranberry. Am I going to get 3 out of here? Yes, of course we will. There we go. So I got 3 from there, and I'm going to need 3 red. So let's go ahead. Now we've got all of our petals punched. Let's go ahead and put our poppies together, and then I'll talk about the center. So what I like to do is just add a little bit of regular tape runner adhesive in the center. And then I take each petal, and this is what I mean by shaping them. I kind of put the fluffy, ruffled edge on my forefinger, and I kind of press, down and around so that I've got a bit of a shaped petal. So it's not exactly flat. And then I'm going to come on to the circle, and I'm just going to line up the edges of the fluffy sort of petal with the edges of the circle. Okay, so it might be a little bit harder to see with the Firecracker Shimmer. You probably see it a little bit better with the 2-tone. So again, I just kind of shape the petal, and then I'm going to go and make kind of a opposite, or I'm going to make kind of a triangle with the first three. Shape the petal, and then I'll put that in. So I've got my first three down. So hopefully you can see that they're a little bit dimensional. Let's go ahead with the other ones. I might need just a little bit more adhesive in the center. Shape that one, put it down. And you know, just bending and shaping it just a little bit gives it a much more realistic appearance. And again, it comes from creating the shadows. So even though you're going to put this, you know, on a page and it's going to go behind a page protector, the shadows, the bends, is what creates the look of dimension. Okay? So let's go ahead and make the base out of these. The reason I like the cardstock is it actually tends to hold the shape a little bit better. So when let me see if I can get that in focus. There we go. So when I shape them, the cardstock, because it creases better, actually holds its shape a little bit more. All right, so again, the first one I'm just kind of putting in the center. I'm going to do the 3 cranberry leaves, and I'm going to make them kind of into a triangle on the base. Again, just putting it over top of my forefinger and kind of pressing and shaping the petals. So you should be able to see that one just a little bit better. And then we'll do the same with the red. Again, I might need just a little touch more in the center just to catch that. And go ahead and do another one. I've got some adhesive on my finger there. Just shape it, place it. Oh, see, I just need a little bit more in there. Because when you do the shaping, it doesn't lay flat on the adhesive. So you have to catch some part of the little point of each petal onto the adhesive. So there we go. That one's a little bit far out. There we go. Okay, so now the bases are done. And so for the center, I'm going to use the little star that comes with the mini place and piece by piece trio. So for each one, I'm going to use 2 stars. And again, I'm just punching them from black. And really, that was the reason that I chose to back the Chevron arrows punch with the black. So there's a little bit of contrast. It doesn't stick out quite as much, but it's going to match back to the stars in the center of the poppy. Now, you don't have to do this, but I like to get kind of, again, a ruffly edge. Poppies have those kind of fuzzy centers. And, you know, this doesn't mimic it exactly, but just by cutting down kind of the point of each of the little star petals, I'm going to be able to kind of create, again, a little bit of texture and dimension in the center of each poppy. So you can skip this step if you want, not a big deal. And then we're just going to go ahead and add them to the center. So there's the first one down, and then I'll put some adhesive there, and I'm just overlapping it and having the points of the stars point in the opposite direction there, just to kind of, again, fill it out and make it look as if it's that sort of fuzzy, multi-fibered center. Okay, so there's our little poppy. Let's do the second one real quick. Actually, let's just do this one without cutting, just so we can see the difference. It may not be worth it to some of you to spend that extra couple of minutes. So they both look great, but we don't have the same kind of texture. And again, you might not be able to see it on camera as much. Okay, so there's my Firecracker Shimmer Poppy, and there's the two-tone cardstock poppy with red and cranberry. So now I've got about 6 poppies. And I will say, I did a little bit of research. And of course, you know, the World Wide Web is doesn't always give us every piece of information. But I thought for some of you, if you are doing poppies, you might want to add some leaves. Of course, they grow on green stems. So if you are doing something like this, you could add some little green leaves to the back of them. Of course, I believe in the UK, any of the poppies that are sold for Remembrance Day there have little leaves behind them. In Canada, we don't. So again, you'll see different pieces of information as to what is correct. So if you want, you can certainly punch out some additional little leaves just using, again, that same petal shape. So I've just gone ahead with our dark green cardstock to punch some extra little leaves. So I'm going to see how that looks once I get everything in place. I might tuck in a few just for some additional color. It may not be 100% accurate, but we'll see how it goes. All right, so I'm kind of thinking, again, to mirror this, I've got some nice space up here. So I would want my poppies, maybe a nice little grouping up here, kind of maybe layered, and then maybe just two down here. Now I did see on the sticker sheet some great words that we could use, and I pulled off respect, courage, and selfless. And I think I'm going to add those in kind of a little fan shape right down in here. I'll put some foam squares there. And then for a title, I did look at the titles, and again, we've got lots of great options. But considering that this layout for me is going to be documenting my son's participation in a Remembrance Day event, I'm really not talking about his specific service. So I thought I would get out my white, these are Serif, my white Serif ABC 123 stickers. And I thought a title something like Remember would be really appropriate. So I just put it on a piece of wax paper just so I could kind of move it around and see where it would work. But I think right in there will be a great place. And then I can add my little trio of poppies, my little two poppies there. And I do have an extra one. I could add it somewhere up here, but we kind of almost have an extra sort of set of embellishments here on this photo. So I don't think I'm going to use this last poppy. And let's just have a look and see what it would look like if I added in a few of these little green leaves. I do like the way that that just kind of, oops, that's backwards, just kind of finishes it off and kind of helps to anchor these. So even though it may not be completely correct, depending on where you live, I think having a couple of little petals to substitute in for leaves might work really, really well for the layout itself. Okay, so I think that's what that's going to be. I do have some other words I can use. I did see the word valor. I've got some other stars here, which would be nice. And even though I've made my own poppies, of course, you know, adding the poppy stickers in here would also work really well. So you can kind of, you know, judge for yourself if you are making some kind of layout like this. But again, I don't think I need any over here because the eye sees these red poppies, sees these red poppies, and then kind of comes up and sees all the red poppies in this photo. So I'm not going to adhere my embellishments here until I see the photo and see how that all looks. The other thing I'm going to hang on to is some of these little tags or tabs. You know, they may be something that I can add up here at the top of the layout, you know, just as a little, maybe there's going to be a little star or something on them. Or I could also use the chevrons themselves, maybe down the side for example, along here. Let me see if I've got one more slightly large one. There we go. Just a little trio of those chevrons might work really well to kind of draw attention and draw the viewer's eye into the layout. So there we go. Like I said, not fun in terms of the subject matter, but again, an easy and fast layout and easy and fast little embellishment that is quite fun to make using the called to serve. So I hope that's given you some ideas on how to use this particular collection, some of the different kind of aspects of the collection that will work for whether you're honoring a particular service person or documenting a ceremony, a Remembrance Day or a Veterans Day ceremony. I think either one of those uses will be hopefully something that will be useful to you. So I think that's going to finish it off for me today. I will put those measurements again in the description box so that you can access them really quickly. And again, I'm seeing some comments from Facebook users. So I know that some people have been able to see me on Facebook throughout our little time together here, but I will go back and check and make sure that it actually stays uploaded as video there. And if not, we'll make those corrections. So again, apologies if you weren't able to watch us on Facebook. Hopefully you saw us on YouTube or you can watch the replay. Now, I just wanted to mention a couple of things. Reminder again about the Scrappy Spirit Halloween Challenge. If you didn't hear the details at the beginning of our hour together or our time together, in the Virtual Crop Facebook group, you have until Sunday, November 5th, 11:59 p.m. CT to upload your Halloween-themed layouts for a chance to win a prize. And I was going to say the promo, but the promo did end yesterday. But of course, the regular line Halloween products are still available. So if you need some Halloween products, make sure you drop over to creativememories.com, creativememories.ca, or creativememoriesau.com to grab those Halloween products. Okay, so look forward to seeing all of your Halloween layouts in the Virtual Crop Facebook group. Again, my friends on YouTube, make sure you're over in the Facebook group as well. And Facebook folks, again, another great reason to be following on the YouTube platform as well, just in case we have a glitch like today with Facebook. So, all right, I will see you again next week. There is no special promo, fast and fun deal, anything like that. We're giving a little bit of a break this week. I will be with you next week and we'll see what's new and different, and we will definitely do another fast and fun project together. Okay, so we'll see you next week, Wednesday, November 8th, 5 p.m. as usual, and fingers crossed that we are glitch free next week. I hope you have a good one and we'll see you then. Bye for now, everybody.